Yes, guys, what's going on? Specimen here, and it's a big day because it's Northern Realms Day. We've got 2 new card reveals that have just been announced this morning. If you haven't seen already, I did upload a video earlier where I predicted the 6 legendary cards and a few other cards as well that I believe are going to be in the upcoming expansion. Included 2 card arts of Riance and Francesca as well. So if you haven't seen that video, strongly recommend it. We correctly predicted this patience keyword. At the end of your turn, if order is not used, permanently increase the card's specified value by 1. Alright, first card. Casting Contest revealed by Trinet. It's a 5 provision spell and it's Northern Realms exclusive. Boost an allied unit by 5 if it's bronze, reset its order ability and give it Zeal. Okay, so just on a pure maths point of view, this card is a 9 for 5 if used in a devotion deck and you use it on a Karak Marine because you're going to boost it by 5 and you're then going to boost another card by 4 because it's like a mini Varaxis, right? But you can only use it on bronze cards, bear in mind. A few really cool things you can do with this. Revenants, which of course spells do make sense in a Revenant deck already, but with Alza being a card and Forbidden Magics also being spells. So I can definitely see this being used in Revenant decks with Alza. That's one thing to bear in mind. You could reset the order of a Revenant that you've already used, reset that order, and then you've got another extra Revenant, which is really damn cool. So it's more ways of playing Revenants, which is exactly what you want in a Revenant deck because you just play so many Revenants that your opponent just runs out of answers. So I think this is going to be an auto-include in Revenant decks, which is really exciting because they're a deck that I really like, and I already loved using Alza in Revenant decks as well. So a perfect fit. But there's more to it. Of course, Devotion, it makes a lot of sense. And I really love the synergy potential with Griffin Witch Adepts, particularly in King Rogner decks, where if one of your adepts gets answered, you could use this on one of your old adepts to get the order ability back and then start making more shields. It's just a flexible card that if you need that adept, you can use it. And if you don't need that adept, you don't have to include a location for a third one at 8 provisions. You just get this flexible card. And I think the other thing that is going to be amazing with this card is the Karak City Guard. If there's a card you want to move, like a Nithra or Kaltalis, you can move it with the City Guard, use Casting Contest on it, and then the engine's going to continue, and then you can move something else later on. Added to that, you could also just have your City Guard chilling on the board, and then move one of your opponent's cards into the back row, use Casting Contest, move it again, and then you can Eurodon for 1,000,000 points. What a cool card, by the way. Alza Synergy seems great in Revenant, seems great in Devotion. I would love to see Kira Metz get her old ability back where she used to be able to tutor spell cards. And Casting Contest is also directly linked with the gold card, the legendary card. My prediction was Radcliffe, a Northern Realms arcane mage who died at the Thanard coup. Was I correct? No. Gail Hartervale. Before we look at his ability, I'm going to tell you about Gail Hartervale, alright? He was the oldest living mage before the Thaned coup. He was a member of the Brother of Sorceresses, and he was also the author of Elves and Humans. He was hundreds of years old, and yeah, so obviously a very, very important guy in the Witch universe, because at the time he was the oldest mage alive, and obviously mages get very, very old. So what's he doing? Well, he has Zeal, he has Patience, which is of course this keyword. The longer he's on the board, the order gets better, and he's going to start off as you play him by creating and playing a 4 provision spell. So if you were to wait a turn, a 5 provision spell. Yeah? And if you were to wait another turn, 6, 7, 8, you get the idea. All the way up to 13, if you were to have him on the board for long enough, you could create and play an Aneromancy. Well, let's just have a look at how good this card actually is. Remember, the create keyword, we're going to see 3 cards. So if there's 4 spell cards at 4 provisions, you will see 3 of them and get to select one of those 3 that you would like. So of course Pact is a 4 provision spell card that plays for 6 points. So if you can find that Pact, he is just going to be a very wholesome 13 for 11 on deploy, with of course the option to wait a little bit longer, and there's going to be some other synergies that you could potentially do. Let's have a look at what the spell cards are at each provision ranking, because my gut feeling is that 4 provisions might just be the best for this dude because Pact is such a solid card. Let's have a gander. In at 4 provisions, we have Pact and we have Runeword. Now, bear in mind, this is price of power. There is almost certainly going to be more spell cards released. Okay, I'm thinking 6 provisions in particular. We might see another spell card. And this is not locked to just his faction. So this dude at 9 provisions will be able to create an Invo. Okay, so that's very, very cool. Northern Realms Invo is finally here. So Pact and Runeword at the moment are the only 4 provision spell cards. Runeword, by the way, super power crept. I would really expect now to be the time for Runeword with this amazing card art to get a little bit of a buff. So look out for that. I would fully expect it to happen with the fact we're getting Price of Power. So at the moment, with no other spell cards coming into the game, this guy is going to be... Sorry, this guy, I should have some respect. Gail Hartervale is going to be a very wholesome and solid 13 for 7. The options in at 5 provisions, we have Will-o'-the-Wisp. So if you were to Fortune Teller one of your opponent's cards, you could then destroy it with Will-o'-Wisp. There's a few other doomed cards like Patricidal Fury. The Arnulf is doomed, so that could be a really fun interaction that I'm sure somebody will do at some point, and it'll be on the Great Dandelion Show. You've also got Forbidden Magic in at 5, as well as Alza's Thunder. Also, Artifact Compression, it can create golds as well. So at the moment, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so a little bit more random. But don't forget as well, Casting Contest is already a confirmed spell card. So there's already 5 provision spell cards. So you're going to be creating 3 of those. So 3 out of the 5 you will see, and then you get to pick which one you would like. In at 6, it's only Stammelford's Tremors at the moment, which is quite a power crap card. I would expect there to be like a 6 provision spell card in one of the factions. I think Scoia'tael is most likely because Elven Magic is strongly hinted towards with Francesca. Imperial Mages for Nilfgaard as well. So fully expect some more special cards. When all the cards have been revealed for the expansion, we will revisit this card and see what he's looking like. In at 7, we have Necromancy. Necromancy, again, not that bad in a Revenant deck if you wanted to find another Revenant, for example. Also, in Sintra Royal Guard decks, Necromancy can pop off. But 8 is where it really starts to heat up because we've got Sabrina's Inferno. We have Becca's Rock Slide. We have Becca's Dark Mirror, Double Cross, and The Last Wish. So a wide variety of cards. 9 as well, even more banger cards. We have Triangle with a Triangle, Curse of Corruption, Yennefer's Invocation, and Marigold's Hailstorm. I'd love to see Marigold's Hailstorm getting a bit of a buff. I was really expecting it to get buffed with the latest journey. It didn't happen, unfortunately. But a nice variety of cards, particularly Triangle within a Triangle and Invo are going to be your top choices here, I do believe. In at 10, it's just Ragnarok. In at 11, it is Scorch. Bear in mind, the initiative on Scorch means it's just going to work how Curse of Corruption would. But the Uma's Curse, you could, in theory, Uma's Curse, of course, into the man, the myth, the legend, Gail Hartervale. So that's going to be something I go for. Gail Hartervale into Uma, into Gail Hartervale. I'm going to be looking to do that one. And of course, you could create an Alza with this as well, because it does have direct synergy with Alza with the extra spell card that you're going to be able to create. You've got Hand Marvin's Blue Dream and Renew in at 12. And finally, 13 provisions is going to be a Neuromancy. So what is the most likely way you use this card? Are you going to be looking for the Anero? Are you going to be looking for the Invo? My gut feeling is a lot of the time you're going to be playing it as just as a deploy on the Pact and on the Runeword if the Runeword gets buffed. But of course, if you've got a Defender down, for example, if you're feeling confident in a deck like Northern Realms Revenants, where you've got cards maybe like Alza, Villain Trettenmirth, Idaran, all mages, well, Villain Trettenmirth isn't, Malaspina, a mage as well. Loads of really good mages you can use in that deck, Philippa as well. There's lots of threats that need to be removed, and therefore this gives you more incentive to leave the man Gelhart of Ale down on the board. So my gut feeling is this card is going to be best used in a Mobilization Revenants deck, but also potentially some sort of stockpile mages, particularly if the Spellweaver here does get a little buffed a little bit, because the card is just pretty power crept. When I've made mages decks in the past, he hasn't actually made the cut. If you have never seen my mage Northern Realms decks with Idaran and Alza, it will be in the description because it's one of my favourite decks to play of all time, and it will certainly be the first deck I'm playing on day one. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that. So yeah, they are the Northern Realms card reveals. What do you guys think? I'm a massive fan. Just quickly as well, to recap, yesterday 2 more Syndicate cards were announced, which means we have got the full Syndicate set for the first drop. We have the Witchfinder, who we already talked about. We also have Vigilantes, who we talked about. Witchfinder just looks to be quite a fantastic card if left unanswered as well. And then the other card that was revealed was Hysteria, which is place a bounty on an enemy unit, damage it by 3. If it already has a bounty, double the damage, so you're going to be dealing 6. I think this card is a little bit lackluster, but it's kind of similar to a Slander. But if you've got Witchfinder on the board, you're gaining a bounty each turn, and you really wouldn't want to apply another bounty because she only works if no unit has bounty. Remember, you can only have one bounty at a time. So rather than a Slander that is just going to be a 3-coin card, if Witchfinder's on the board, this Hysteria is still going to be a bounty when you need it. And when your Witchfinder's sticking on the board, you can deal a nice solid 6 damage. And of course, if you're controlling your opponent's side of the board with tool punishers and things like that, the Witchfinder is likely going to be placing a bounty on something around 6 strength. So Hysteria can just clean up. A really cool card art on this one too. Finally, Fabian Hale, who is this dude here. We did pretty much confirm. He looks more like a caretaker type character, but it is in fact Fabian Hale, a Witchfinder with his tattoos here. And he is going to be a 4.8 provision card with Intimidate. And on deploy, he places a bounty on an enemy unit. And if there was already an enemy unit with bounty, gain coins equal to its base power. So if you've got Witchfinder on the board, for example, and Witchfinder has hit a Bear Witcher with bounty, you could then play Fabian Hale, placing a bounty and gaining coins equal to the card that already has a bounty. So you'd gain 8 coins for a Bear Witcher, which means this will be a 4-body with 8 coins and also the Intimidate tag. So on things like Bear Witchers, Egon are going to be amazing, but of course could be quite lackluster in other situations. But of course, don't forget Fabian is just going to have that option to place a bounty. But really, the best use for this card is going to be when combined with the Witchfinder and Graydon, because you're going to have Witchfinder placing a bounty on a really tall card, or you could just place a bounty with something like Hysteria or Slander, and then your Fabian Hale is going to then gain the coins for the base power, and then a turn later you can Graydon that card as well and boost Graydon by the amount of base power. So if you're not sure what Graydon does, it's like a tool punish for Syndicate with bounty. You tribute 5 and you boost self by that unit's base power. So Graydon and Fabian definitely seem like a really nice combo. Almost like a Siggy Reuven for the bounty archetype. So really cool card. I'm actually really a massive fan that they decided to support bounty as an archetype. And I think Vigilantes with Igor and Darren looks to be very, very spicy, particularly because you could play Tamara Strenger as well as like a swarm payoff card in that sort of a setup. So really excited with the reveal so far. Definitely my favourite card revealed, without doubt, is Gail Hartervale. But a close second is Casting Contest. I'm a Northern Realms fanboy. I love Spell Northern Realms. I love Alza, so of course I'm a big fan of these cards. What do you guys think? I'm super chuffed and excited. If you haven't already seen the predictions video I made, Riance, Francesca, the Mother of Crones, we talked about it all over there, and there's still a chance we did get the Skellige Mage correct as well. So make sure you check that video out. It is a banger. Hope you enjoyed the video. More Northern Realms reveals tomorrow. I will be posting a video with the 2 other Northern Realms reveals. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for the support. See you on the next one. Bye.